Super Mario RPG was released for the Super Nintendo in 1996, back when Square Enix was still Squaresoft, and video games were still primarily a Japanesey thing. Square and Nintendo decided to team up and make a game that was part RPG and part platformer, but which had no intentions of taking itself seriously. What we were left with was a game that was ultimately very entertaining to play through, and was sprinkled with moments that would genuinely make you laugh out loud. However, a lot of people have never heard of it and know nothing about it, so I'm here to tell you, you should have played this game. It starts out pretty much like every other Super Mario game. Peach picks flowers to show she's innocent, Bowser swoops out of nowhere and grabs her to show he's a rapist jerk, and Mario rushes out to save her so you know you're supposed to like him. Because it's a platformer, you actually can avoid enemies in this game, and thankfully you won't be underleveled if you choose to do so. You'll probably accidentally bump into combat or be forced into it often enough that you could play through the whole game without going out of your way to level, as long as you never run from battles. The battle system had an interesting feature that was used in future games, like Paper Mario, called timed hits. Basically, during your character's attack animation, if you hit the attack button a second time at the right moment, you could get an additional attack in and do more damage. It worked in reverse for blocking enemy attacks. Once you'd fought an enemy a couple times, you'd learn when in its animation it was going to hit you, and you could tap the attack button at the right time to take reduced or no damage. It made every battle a little more interactive than just spamming the attack button. Right when you're about to rescue Peach, however, the castle shakes and a gigantic sword with eyes and a mouth comes crashing through Bowser's castle and launches everybody out of it. And so the game begins. To give you an idea of the kind of humor this game contains, allow me to present you with this little bit of dialogue. In most older RPGs, the main character never actually has a voice or a dialogue box to himself, and everybody just responds as if they know what he said. Toad lampshades this by asking Mario what's up with the silent treatment. In fact, they take it a step further throughout the game. Although Mario never talks, he engages in charades whenever he has to tell a story. For example, here's Mario telling the Chancellor that Bowser kidnapped the princess, they fought, and just as he was about to rescue her, a sword came crashing through and knocked everyone elsewhere. When he went back to the keep, the sword destroyed the bridge. Sometimes when explanations are necessary, they're not above breaking the fourth wall either, such as this exchange where Toad asks if you know about timed hits. If you do, he informs the Goomba of it and he runs off. Now, of course, it wouldn't be an RPG if you didn't have a party to build, so you do pick up some extra characters beyond Mario. The first of which is a giant ball of fluff called Mallow, as in Marshmallow, in case you weren't following, who's a little crybaby that also believes himself to be a tadpole. There is, predictably enough, a scene in which it is dramatically revealed that this is not the case. You also pick up a spirit from Star Road who's named something very unpronounceable but offers the name Geno after the doll he possessed. He makes a bit of a jab at Mario by commenting that he inhabited the Geno doll because it looked the strongest. The others were Mario, Peach, and Bowser. Of course, the real reason is that the other two party members are, in fact, Peach and Bowser. With the exception of Mario Kart, this was the first time people were able to play as Bowser, and much as you'd expect, he's got a great deal of physical strength and does a good amount of damage. However, you discover throughout the game that he's also kind of a whiny loser without his keep. He also goes to great lengths to try and keep his image up despite being fairly insecure. You are given a scene somewhat late in the game if you visit Monstro Town where you discover he at least has a heart for his fellow baddies. Peach is the healer, and as with pretty much every other RPG, as soon as you get her, there's really no reason not to have her in your party. She's the only one with group heals, and all her heals cure all status effects, and she also gets the only resurrect spell in the game. She may not do much damage, but the game is significantly harder if you don't bring her along. Super Mario RPG also has a number of mini-games that are sometimes just fun and at times also amusing. This is probably one of the most well-known ones from fans. You could also compose music at Tadpole Pond. Swim and barrel roll for coins. Race Yoshis. Do a time trial with a minecart. Chase the bad guy up a hill. And even hide from very inept enemies who are looking for the Mario doll. The game was genuinely very quirky most of the time. Not only did Booster's Tower have a great song, but it also had a hammer you could get called the Masher, which you used to kill monsters. So take your time with that pun there, as well as a little throwback to the old Marios. Really. There's also a really cool level called Star Hill. The idea is that wishes made fall as stars to Earth, but the wishes on Star Hill haven't been granted yet because the Star Road is broken. Wishes range from Frogfucius to a married couple you meet, to Mallow, to Toadofsky, to a chef you meet, to a boss you fight, to Mallow's parents, to Luigi, and even to a Yoshi. And for the ultimate in quirky, there's this scene here where your star gets jacked. By whom, you ask? If you guessed the evil version of the Power Rangers, you are correct. Super Mario RPG was an amazing game for its time and is still a blast to play. Much of the humor remains good even 14 years later, and if you never got a chance to laugh your way through this game, do yourself a favor and find a way to play it. Right now. And that's it for this episode of Games You Should Have Played. See you next time.